Hi everyone, Natasha here, and around my home today we are in the kitchen. I am sitting in front of the large window looking out over the snow falling. We've had another snow day, so it is, someone told me the other day in our school district the kids have had 11 days of school, I think, and I'm not sure if that was up until Monday or something, but we've had a lot of snow days, which is not that typical for us, mostly because we've had ice and slick road situations. But my daughter is off school today. She's playing at the neighbor's house, which is wonderful, so that I can happily share with you my February setup in my Unbound Planner. So if you've been following along, then you know I was a bullet journaler through and through for about 2 years, over 2 years. I had my bullet journal and I loved it, and I still kind of miss it, but I have a notebook that I'm using sort of as a backup journal, and it's already come in handy just for those times when I need a collection or I need to take notes, but it's not something I want to carry around with me in my planner every day. So this year I'm trying the Unbound Planner. I saw this on Amanda's Favorites, and that was the first I had heard of it, but when I looked into it even more than what she explained, it just really seemed like it was a good fit. It gives me a lot of flexibility and the ability to do a lot of the same planning that I was already doing in my bullet journal without having to set up the same spreads over and over again, and also without having the struggle of making it difficult to do future planning, because I'm a busy mom. I work several part-time jobs. My husband and I have a home-based business, so our schedule is very complicated, and it helps me to have somewhere on paper that I can keep track of it all besides everything that goes in my phone. But the bullet journal was just getting to be so cumbersome to set up that it was making it less exciting to use. So far this has been working out. So as you know, besides just doing my usual planning, I do like to do a little bit of decorating, and then I also use the Louise Hay Colors and Numbers book here to help me determine a color scheme, because I go by what my personal month is. So I'll show you that here in just a minute, and some of the other supplies I've used. I'm really enjoying the mild liner brush markers as well as the regular chisel tip markers, but the brush has been really nice because if you're familiar with the mild liner line, the colors are great. They're somewhat muted, they're not real intense, they don't get as pigmented as what I experience with Tombos. Sometimes I still need a Tombow, but more often than not, I keep reaching for my mild liners these days. And then the brush tip is awesome because it gives you the ability to do that wider line. So if you're trying to make headings, one swipe with this and it's done. Whereas, the chisel tip, I always ran into the problem of that's not wide enough. Like even in my bullet journal, it wouldn't fill up the space between two dots, which just kind of annoyed me. So I love having the brush tip that I can do, between the two dots or a little bit bigger if I want to, and then I kind of work on my brush lettering here and there. I don't find that I'm using that as much now that I have this Unbound Planner, so it's kind of lacking that creative aspect, but it's adding a lot more in flexibility and just productivity. So kind of goes both ways. And then of course I still love using the Pilot Friction pens. I used this kind of aqua teal colored one for the setup this month, and then I always use a black for my daily writing. I have quite a few that are in this, which is an 07. And then I ordered some refills that came in 04. I did it accidentally, but I'm really liking that too because it's a very fine line. So especially in this book, there's places where I just want to be able to write a lot in a small space, and that 04 point has been really nice for that. So without further ado, let's get into my planner. So as you know, I did set up the beginning of my planner. So my personal year is a 3-year, and that means the color is yellow, and then of course that translates down into the monthly setup. I've added all my tabs here, so let's go to February, and for February For me, it's a personal month 5, so that means the color that coordinates with that from the Louise Hay book is this kind of aqua and teal color. So I've done some just basic decorating. I've added in my zone cleaning just to remind me for the Fly Lady system. And you know, I have found that this planner is nice because things are very muted and in kind of this charcoal gray even for the ink, but sometimes it's almost too hard to read. So I like doing some highlighting like this because it just sort of helps me differentiate those titles that they've already put in. And as you can see, I've already started adding in some of my events and recurring tasks, and I am doing some color coding this month. Last month I didn't. I did a lot more that was just in black, but I finally got our family calendar that hangs on the wall in the kitchen kind of up to date, and I usually color code in that, so I just sort of kept it going in here. So yeah, so that's kind of how that is laid out. I don't know that I'll go in and do a whole lot more. I should update. Oh no, this is February. I was going to say I should put all the snow days, but that'll be in January. So, and then I usually go through, I say usually, what I did in January was I did go through and fill out the first 3 prompts, and then now as the month is winding down, I should go back in and just jot down the last 3 prompts. If I want, I don't have to. You know, again, it's kind of a flexible system for that reason. Then you get a monthly planning page, which I like, so I'll go through and refer back to my goals at the beginning of this planner. So it does give you a little section at the front where you can work through establishing what your goals are for the year. And then it reminds you to review those goals and add in any monthly tasks that reflect those goals. So I'll do that. Gifts and occasions is kind of handy. I usually just have 1 or 2 birthdays a month, but it's nice just to have those pointed out there. In January, I did fill this out where I gave myself some ideas for things to do, and some of them I've done, some of them I haven't, but it's just a nice added aspect of something to be kind of thinking and planning as you're heading into the new month. And this tells you what the number 5 personal month is for me. So it talks about change and you know, dropping routine, discarding old ideas, doing something unusual, being different, getting out and experiencing life in a new way. So if you want to pause and read that, you can, but I typically find these seem to reflect how I'm kind of feeling anyway going into the month, and then as the month goes on and I refer back to them, it's interesting to either be reminded of it or to just see, oh, yep, that's exactly what's been kind of happening and how I've been feeling. So I went ahead and showed you, I want to show you how I've set up the first week. So this is kind of evolved, and this is now what I'm doing when I set up my weekly pages. So similar to the month, you have a planning page for the week, and then I'll flip in a minute and show you there's just a scheduling page. So for here, I always put my zone cleaning reminder at the top, and then I'll just see what's going on and what I need to add as my other 2 priorities for the week. One thing I've noticed, and maybe this is just me, but sometimes what I put up here I tend to forget because I have a longer list on either of these items. So I sort of get like caught up trying to keep track of all these and work on these, and then I forget to look up here and see what I'm doing. So what I've started to do is similar to how I have it here. Whatever this priority is, if it's a project where I can break it down into some smaller tasks, I've been trying to add those tasks in either the easy tasks, so I look at these as things that take less than 15 minutes, and then the bigger tasks are either things that I know are going to be harder or they're going to take more time, or it could be more of a project, but it's helped me to have that where it's broken down and then I know I'm still working on that priority and I don't forget about it. And as you can see, I went through and added my zone cleaning tasks. Now, I don't necessarily do all of these. It's more just as a reminder, kind of keeps it front of mind when I'm going through the week. And obviously, I'll just kind of do what I see that needs to be done. So sometimes it's a real specific thing and I say, yes, for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to zone clean. Other times, like especially here in the kitchen, I'm waiting for something to boil or I'm warming something in the microwave and I have a minute. So I might go, you know, grab the spray bottle that's under the sink and wipe down the counters or wipe the windows, or if I'm emptying the trash anyway because it's trash day, then I see that the trash can needs to be cleaned out and I remember that's today. And you can see this is the 0.4 pen, the friction pen, and I actually just had the thought that one other thing I need to do in the kitchen is to clean the electric kettle and the coffee pot. So I'm just going to put electric kettle because I did the coffee pot last week actually, so that'll remind me. But you can see the difference in the 02 or 07 versus the 04. Yeah, and then I have a place for my errands and a place for my contacts. So far I haven't done too much with writing in the weekly reflection and notes. Sometimes it ends up just being notes. A lot of times it's been blank, but that's okay. It's just nice to know that's where that space is. And then these are my daily habits that I'm working on. I don't do them all all the time. It's sort of there as a goal and a reminder. The walking is part of my morning routine when I take my daughter to school. And we've had so many snow days that I've been missing some of my walks, but it's there to remind me, and it's a goal that I'm working toward, and you know, it just is what it is. So, all right, and then we have our week. So one thing I will note is these numbers at the top, again, they're pretty small, and I found it was kind of hard just to remember what I was looking at, so I went through and put some stickers on there with numbers. I think it's from the Happy Planner, like, calendar pages. I'll have to, if I find it, I'll put it in the description down below, but it just helps me to have those numbers a little larger. You can see here, like, this is what they normally look like. They're almost so faint that I kind of lose them on the page, especially once I start writing everything down. So this has helped. I just color in the dots for something fun, just to kind of remind me, and again, to sort of make it stand out against all the text that I end up writing. I love having this meal plan page, or meal planning section on the page. This has helped me so much. Somehow it's taken the pressure off, and it's just real easy to jot down some ideas in the middle of doing a few other things, and it's made me be a lot better about meal planning, and that has been a really good thing. And my gratitude at the bottom, some weeks I do great and write something down every day, and then other weeks I don't. So again, this whole process is helping me just let go of the perfectionism and, you know, make the planner work for me and do what it needs and go from there. And then you can see I also have my personal day numbers here. So that's what the blue numbers are next to the day. And that again just helps me remember. I've used it so long, I kind of have it memorized, so I know what the color is that corresponds to each number. So that is useful for when I'm planning my wardrobe, and then I also just kind of know what that means the day is going to be about and what the affirmation is. So I'll just kind of show you, like, here's personal day 1 is about time to begin, start new things, try new ideas, begin a new job, and then it has an affirmation, I open new doors to life. So that's just helpful, and just kind of gives me some mindfulness as I start the day. So that is my February setup. I have not gone through and set up anything else other than just to add in my zone cleaning for each week, and then a few notes like this is my daughter's party at school, just some stuff like that. So as the week is coming up, I'll go through and add those in, and then I've also added the numbers just because I was kind of on a roll and kept going with it. So that is my Unbound Planner monthly setup, and I hope that is helpful to you. Even if you're a bullet journaler, then sometimes I know it's helpful just to see another idea on how you can lay things out and how you can make it work for you. So thanks for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button down below. I hope wherever you are, you're wonderfully comfortable, if it's cozy and warm or cool and breezy, and I will look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thanks again. Bye-bye.